Hi, my name is Siti Noraisha binti Muhammad Zani and my number matrix is 2020478978. Thank you.
Hi, assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Hafiz bin Su'i and my number ID is 2020464836.
Hi, assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Shasha Shafinas binti Kaidal Anwar and my student ID is 2020868728.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Akif bin Asri and my student ID is 2020600956.
Okay, first of all, when we heard about muscle, what comes to our mind? Is it about the muscle at the leg that help us to run fast, or the bodybuilders that are working for their bicep at the gym? Both of these muscles belong to a particular muscle tissues, which is skeletal muscles. But actually, there are another two types of muscle tissues, but they are not obvious, which is cardiac and also smooth muscle tissues. Okay, let's discuss about all of these three types of muscle tissues. Let's go. The smooth muscle tissues is quite a bit different when we compare to the another two muscle tissues, which is cardiac and skeletal. However, it still shares some similarity. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the location of smooth muscle tissues. Actually, smooth muscle tissues can be found throughout in our body, but to remember all of the main location, I found one mnemonic that helps us to remember. Just remember the word stuff. S stands for skin. Yes, skin in our hand. It is specifically those effectively muscles that cause goosebumps. T stands for trachea. It can be found in the respiratory, urinary, and also reproductive system. O stands for organs that are hollow, such as the intestine, the bladder, and the stomach, and also so on. V stands for vessels. In this case, smooth muscle tissues will help the vessel to constrict. E stands for eyes. In this case, smooth muscle tissues will help the iris contraction. Okay, now let's take a look of the shapes of smooth muscle tissues. As we can see, the smooth muscle tissues is shaped like a fusiform, or we can resemble it as a football or spindle shapes. Okay, now let's move to the another parts, which is smooth muscle tissues only has one nucleus at the center. It also do not have a striation, and this is the reason why it calls smooth muscle cells. And the last is the smooth muscle tissues is an involuntary control. Okay, now let's move to the more detailed structure of the smooth muscle tissues. And in this part, I take a look of the digestive system as an example. We can see here, smooth muscle tissues has a few layers that work together to propel down a food during a digestive system via a process peristalsis. It is unlike the skeletal and cardiac muscles because the smooth muscle tissues do not have a myofibril and also sarcoma. As we can see here, smooth muscle cells consists of a few parts, which is nucleus, dense body, and a few filaments like thick filaments, or known as a myosin, thick filament or actin, and intermediate filament. Okay, this is the process of how smooth muscle tissues contractions. Firstly, the myosin heads will slide the actin forward, and then the dense body was pulled, and the networking of intermediate filaments was pulled throughout the body cells. This process will make the muscle shorten. And this is the function of a smooth muscle tissue. And the last part is the muscle tissues have two types, which is single unit and multi-units. Single units will found in the hollow organ. Meanwhile, the multi-unit will found in the eyes, skin, respiratory system, and so on.
Okay. Assalamualaikum. I will present about the skeletal muscle. Okay, now let's move on to the topic. Okay, what is the meaning of skeletal muscle? Skeletal muscle is a muscle which is connected to the skeleton to form part of the mechanical system which move like limbs and other part of the body. function of skeletal muscle through voluntary movement, locomotion, manipulation of environment, facial impression, and voluntary control. So we can describe the skeletal muscle based on its long cylindrical form, multinucleate cell, and obvious striation. Location. Location for skeletal muscle. In skeletal muscle, attached to bones or occasionally to skin. Okay, that's all for the explanation to skeletal muscle.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Nuraisha binti Muhammad Zani. So today I would like to talk about the cardiac tissue. So the introduction, cardiac muscle form the connective wall of the heart. It is serrated like skeletal muscle and has similar connective properties. Unlike skeletal muscle, however, cardiac muscle has branch discs which relay signal from cell to cell and help synchronize heart contraction. Next is the function of cardiac tissues. So the function is the tissues work to keep your heart pumping through involuntary movement. And the heart also contains specialized types of cardiac tissue containing pacemaker cell. Pacemaker cells generate electrical impulse or action potentials that tell cardiac muscle cell to contract and relax. Moreover, the pacemaker cell control heart rate and determine how fast the heart pump blood. Next, this is the location and the structure of cardiac muscle. Next, I would like to talk about the disease or malfunction of cardiac muscle. It was called cardiomyopathy. So, the cardiomyopathy means heart muscle disease that make it difficult for the heart to pump and the heart muscle to become enlarged, thick, or rigid. As cardiomyopathy worsens, the heart becomes weaker and it is less able to pump blood through the body. This can lead to heart failure and rhythm problem, or we call this arrhythmia. This is the structure of malfunction cardiac tissue between the disease and normal. Thank you.
So now I will talk about cardiac muscle disease. For introduction, cardiac muscle is the muscle that forms the contractile wall of heart. It works to keep the heart pumping through involuntary movement. It is located at the wall of heart. The cardiac muscle disease is called as cardiomyopathy disease. It is a heart muscle disease that makes it difficult for the heart to pump. The cardiomyopathy can lead to heart failure. There are various types of cardiomyopathy. One of them is dilated cardiomyopathy, restrictive cardiomyopathy, and hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. There are many causes and factors lead to this disease, and the most common factors is the disease passed on from parent. And other factors are like long-term high blood pressure, heart valve problems, metabolic disorders such as obesity, thyroid disease, or diabetes, nutritional deficiencies, drinking too much alcohol for many years, and the use of cocaine, amphetamines, or anabolic steroids. In this disease, there might be no signs or symptoms in the early stages, but in advanced state, these signs can be shown like breathlessness with exertion or even at rest, swelling of the legs, ankles, and feet, bloating of the abdomen due to fluid buildup, heartbeat that feel rapid, pounding or fluttering, chest discomfort or pressure, dizziness, lightheadedness, and fainting. There are some complications from the disease that can lead to fatality, and the first is heart failure. Second is blood clots. Third is valve problems. Fourth is cardiac arrest and sudden death. There are some ways we can do to prevent ourselves or even our family to avoid this disease. The first is to avoid the use of alcohol or cocaine. Second, controlling the high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes. Next, eating a healthy diet. And next, getting regular exercise. Then getting enough sleep. And lastly, reducing our stress.